the end of life on earth, marriage is no more. Jesus himself said, no one is married in heaven. No one gets married, and no one enters heaven married. People enter heaven just like the angels are, unmarried. That means you're investing a lot of time and energy on something that will not last into eternity. I'm not saying to stop it. Paul is not saying to stop investing that energy. Just keep the perspective that if you are married, that's temporal. If you're not married, don't invest so much energy in trying to chase down something that's only going to last for this earth. Keep it in perspective. Here's the next thing Paul says about the gift. He says, here's your blank, marriage, like everything else, is temporary. One last passage to look at, beginning in verse 32. Paul says, I would like you to be free from concern. An unmarried man is concerned about the Lord's affairs, how he can please the Lord. But a married man is concerned about the affairs of this world, how he can please his wife. And his interests are divided. An unmarried woman or virgin is concerned about the Lord's affairs. Her aim is to be devoted to the Lord in both body and spirit. But a married woman is concerned about the affairs of this world, how she can please her husband. I'm saying this for your own good, not to restrict you, but that you may live in a right way in undivided devotion to the Lord. In other words, he's saying, I'm telling you this not to restrict you from getting married, but those of you who are single, I'm telling you, remember, you can have undivided devotion to God, or you can split your heart. You can be married and have that complete devotion to your spouse, that earthly devotion to your spouse, and then also try to maintain devotion to God. Paul says you've got these two choices, but one of these choices gives you the freedom to devote your heart to God. Here's your last blank to write in on this page. Marriage divides your devotion. Just if I were to draw some conclusions from this, I would say that Paul is basically saying if you're going to be single all the way. If you're going to be married all the way. But on the back side of your note sheet, I've written a summary phrase here that I want you to write down. Those who are not married are emotionally free to build an eternal, undivided devotion to God. Now check this out. According to Paul, according to Jesus, it's not that those who are unmarried can be emotionally free. It's not that those who are unmarried should be emotionally free. It's that those people who are not married are emotionally free. If you connect yourself too deeply emotionally to other people in this world, that's a mistake. Jesus says, anyone who doesn't hate their father and mother and brother and sister for me isn't worthy of me. And he's using that word hate to be so strong to say, listen, your love for me has to be so great that if the conflict comes between me and them, you pick me. That's what Jesus is saying. And so the same thing goes here. If you're not married, you're emotionally free. Don't let yourself get attached. Be free to be devoted to God. My sophomore year in college, all my friends were dating people. And guys were dating girls, girls were dating guys. Everybody was dating each other. They were doing random dates. I had a friend who would call random girls on the phone and then hand me the phone. He didn't know them either. And then I would have the phone. I'd just be like, hello. The girl would be, hello. I'd be, hello. She'd be, hello. And then we get in a conversation. He's like, ask her out. Ask her out. I don't even know who she is, you know? So my sophomore year, I was in this situation. We did these things called roulette dates where you would set other people up for dates and you'd all go out in this group date thing together. There was this one girl who thought I was dating her when I wasn't. And then there was this other girl who thought we were dating and we weren't. And we had to do this RDT. It's called Relationship Defining Talk. And I had to do it for each one of them. And I was like, no, we're not dating. And then I said to her, no, we're not dating. And honestly, it was probably my fault that I don't know, I must have done something stupid to actually ask them out or something. I don't know what I did. All I know is that they thought we were dating. I really didn't want to be dating, and I was looking for a third girl. And so anyway, the whole thing was a mess. And I was talking to my mom on the phone one night, and I said, Mom, this is really taxing me. This is troubling me. And she goes, hang on. When love hits you, it hits fast. Don't rush it. I was like, that's profound. You know, it's also biblical. 3 times in the book of Song of Solomon, it says, don't awaken love before it's time. Don't awaken love before it's time. Be patient. Wait. Just hang out. Just relax. Be single. Enjoy the singleness. Enjoy the freedom. Just wait. That's what my mom was saying. And I was, I listened to my mom. And so I said, okay, all right, we'll go with that. And the rest of the year was actually pretty cool. I could just relax. I could focus on my studies. I could focus on getting to know God better. I could focus on building friendships. I could focus on just kind of having healthy relationships with guys and with girls. And it just kind of worked out better for me. And I'll tell you what happened in the summer in just a few minutes. But I want to give you a few more blanks to write down. Something to take home, some real practical stuff for you. Number 1, those who can't accept celibacy should think marriage, not relationships. Very clear about this. Those who can't accept celibacy should think marriage, not relationships. I don't want any of us in this room, if you're ever single, if you are single now, to think, I need to be in a relationship, or to think, I need to meet some people so that I can get in a relationship. Your number 1 job, if you can't accept celibacy, if you just literally can't, you're obsessed by it. Paul says it's better to marry than to burn with passion. And he would basically say it's better to marry anyone than to burn with passion, because you don't want to go to hell. So just get the nearest one who's going to work for you that you can commit your life to the rest of your life. But I don't know what Paul. So here it is. If you got to think marriage, and this is what I'm saying to you, that means you're not dating, you're interviewing. You are interviewing. You're saying, okay, are you the kind of person I can trust? And am I the kind of person who can offer my whole life? If I offer you my life, will you hold it well for your whole life? And if you claim to offer me your life, can I trust you? It basically boils down to that. Are you a believer? Has your heart been given over to God? Is He number 1 in your life? And can I be number 2? Okay, think marriage, not relationships. Number 2, practical advice. Those who are not married must embrace celibacy for the moment. Those who are not married must embrace celibacy for the moment. There is no middle ground in the Bible. There are those who are unmarried/celibate and those who are married. Thirdly, everyone should pursue God's kingdom and His family to the level they are able. Everyone should pursue God's kingdom and His family to the level they are able. If you are single, you have a higher level. You have a higher level that you can pursue God's kingdom and His family. If you are married, you have a lower level of how much you can pursue God's kingdom and His family. Because the two of you have to work together, but there's always this emotional tug that says, how much am I going to invest in the things of God? How much am I going to invest in the marriage? And for a Christian, you can invest in your marriage as a thing of God, because that represents God and His relationship to us, to the whole world. Marriage is a good thing. Marriage is a beautiful thing. Invest in it totally. We talked about that last week, but there are still other things that you can't invest yourself totally into. When I was that same age, sophomore year, I got a vision, a dream in my heart that I wanted to go and live on the beach and be a bum for the summer. Some of you know the story. So I did whatever research I could find to find a church that I could finagle myself into, get an internship at that church. I convinced the church in Manhattan Beach, California, to let me come there and be an intern as a worship leader. And lo and behold, there was a family in that church that was going to be gone for the summer, and they needed someone to house sit / rent their place. And they rented it to me for $300 a month, which is phenomenal when you're living like half a mile from the beach. I mean, if I went on the roof of their house, I could see the ocean if it wasn't foggy enough. And I thought, this is brilliant. This is awesome. So I'm there. I finally moved down to the beach. I'm living on the beach, and there I am, all by myself, a sophomore in college, a whole house to myself. I had 2 jobs, so I was making some money. I was working at a church, so I had some prestige in the college group of that church. And I was on the beach. And there are girls on the beach. I was all by myself. And I remember one day I was really struggling with this whole temptation thing My mom's words were floating through my head, and I was saying to myself, no, I'm really down here to invest my heart in knowing God better and what He wants me to do with my life. And so I remember one day I was praying and I said, God, I can't get my head off of these thoughts, looking for a girl, partner, some kind. I can't get my head off these thoughts. So God, I need you to do something for me. Either take away the desire for this summer, or bring me the girl I can marry so that we can just go right to it. You know, not like that. Where is your mind? So we can get married. So I prayed and I was like, what, am I red? Okay, so it's the lights. So I prayed, and 2 weeks later, I met the woman who's now my wife. And within a month, I was convinced. And by the end of the summer, I had asked her to be my girlfriend, but in my heart, that meant we're on a journey of interviewing each other. And the next summer, I proposed, because I had to save up to buy a ring. And then the next summer, we were married. God answered my prayer, but I gave Him both options. And I want to invite you to pray the same prayer. Because, see, those who are single are emotionally free to build an eternal, undivided devotion to God. If you choose to be single, then bless you. Bless you. You're stronger than I in many ways. In many ways, you are better than I. Jesus would say that. And even though marriage is great and a beautiful thing, if you have chosen to be single, you are walking the same path walked by Jesus Himself. Let's pray.